Okay, let's try to spin her over. So lucky for me, I got a 32 mil socket. Oh, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like timing chain. Timing chain or cam? For sure. No bueno. Yikes. Hopefully more is not wrong with this engine than what the previous owner promised me. Let me tell you something, BMW owners. And hey, it ran yesterday. And then you start taking it apart and you're like, dude, this thing has not ran for months. 6 months maybe, depending on the weather that it stood in outside. You got to prepare for the worst. That's what I say when you're buying a car. Just negotiate as though it's probably going to be worse, way worse than what they're saying. We got a funky sound. All right, let's try to get this valve cover off on the driver's side. Show us what you got. Don't scare us. Please be okay. Fuel line. Another late night, my friends. What's up, Raimundo? So we've got a lot more taken off on the S85. Let's check it out. She looks like she's opening up. So we've got the covers off. There's your Vanos intricacies. Pretty clean, pretty clean. Look at that. The Valley. I've taken out the throttle body controllers, the motors, I think air pump or PCV pump systems. Golden and clean in here, not too gunky. So it seems like someone did maintenance on this car. And so if a head gasket went out, that would be ideal. Hopefully there's no ringland and the loss of compression, because then you have to take apart the engine further. You could see that it's practically a full 90-degree engine. Not all V engines are created the same. That's a given. I use the special toolkit to set the engine to top dead center. When you set it to top dead center, the intake cams will work with the provided tools. But because of the Vanos system, the exhaust cams will not line up. You have to set this to 30 degrees. It's the next hole over, and then you can set your correct exhaust cam plate. To disassemble, you just slowly unscrew the bolts that are not on the indentations. Pretty straightforward. So this whole Vanos system right here on 4 bolts comes off with this first disc layer. So you take off just the bolts and you spin it over, take off the next bolts. This whole Vanos system comes out. You can set your block plates to make sure everything's good. It's interesting that the chain is only on the intake side and then everything else runs off of gears. Super cool. Check out that big water pump system. So many parts that I've laid in the trunk and on the side, and she still keeps giving more parts. I'm getting stuck, so I got to get to the exhaust manifolds to take off the exhaust manifold bolts, because I'm going to pull out the heads from the sides. It's doable. I see that I have space, but reaching down in there is going to be fun. And the hardest part is getting right here, right behind these AC lines. I don't want to do an AC delete, and I've tested this valve. There is refrigerant in there and it's super stinky. That's why I'm wrapping up for today. I don't want to get a headache. But I'll do some research. I don't really care about AC because this is going to be a quote-unquote race car for the street. When I did a couple Subaru builds before, I deleted AC, but that's a 4-cylinder, so you don't want to use AC to lose power. This is a V10. I don't think you care. But I'll do some research about how to get in there. I should probably just remove the serpentine belt. Look at that thing. That's so long. And then I can unscrew the AC condenser and probably drop it down lower to get it out of the way so I can reach all the stuff I need to reach. Most likely I'll do that. I do not want to undo the AC lines because that's just a pain to recharge the system later. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next few days as I continue doing this. I'm pretty excited. It's coming along. Another day. So I want to get down in there for the bolts on the exhaust header, and these AC lines are not letting me. I think my only option is to take off this long serpentine belt and then try to take off the AC condenser compressor, try to move it out of the way slightly forward if that's possible. Because otherwise I don't want to undo the AC lines and lose all the refrigerant. There's two tensioners, one here and one there, and I think I just need to get some fulcrum on them to slip off the belt and we should be good. I got super bored reaching in there with the wrench to undo all the nuts and bolts for the headers, so I'm like, let's compression test this thing. I'm gonna kind of shortcut my discovery to which cylinder has no compression. Of course, took out my stopper pin for the top dead center. Make sure you take off your cam blockers if you put those on for the cam tools, because you don't want to have this thing rip itself apart. We're going to try the good old jumper trick. Got the correct thread piece, so you fish it down in the spark plug hole. The engine's going to turn over a lot easier because all of the spark plugs are out. When you have the spark plugs in, the starter has to work a lot harder. So technically this shouldn't burn out the starter. All right, I figured out I had to run a wire to the actual signal wire to start this bad boy up, but let's see. You guys keep an eye on my compression gauge up here. Let's see if anything comes of it. All right, that built almost 50. Maybe the head gasket is bad in the passenger side. We're gonna find out. Let me put a charger. Okay, we got 10 amps of feed going to the battery. Let's hope this spins it over a little faster. No, she's sitting solid at 50. The numbers should tell us something. It's always nice to be able to do some preliminary diagnosing. Let's get some lube on the cam gears so we're not just spinning her over super dry.
And I'm using Marvel Mystery Oil because I just like it as a cleaning agent as well. This could very well show us that it's the passenger side that's bad.
Yeah, 50. Let's move to the next one. Cylinder 3. Spray it down with more lube. Trying to keep things lubed. Hang in there. Same, 50. Here's number 4. Number 4 is kind of low. It's like showing 40 or 30. Here we go, number 5. Number 5, about the same, like 50-ish. So number 4 was the lowest so far. This is spinning very slow, so I'm not surprised. Like the cold and quote-unquote dry compression is 50-ish. Someone in the last video comment said compression's bad. Showing 50 as well. I just spun cylinder 7. And it's kind of low, 30-ish. So 4 and 7 so far are the bad ones. Number 8. No bueno. It's also possibly engine stood around forever, also has stuck rings. Number 9 seems to be, number 9 has 50. And number 10. Number 10's a champ. It's giving us full 70. Marvel Mystery Oil. It's good stuff, good for cleaning. If you're catless on the exhaust, you can use some in the tank. Put some in the engine oil, like 100 or 200 miles before an oil change, helps clean things out. Varnish. But kind of like the oldie thing. So I got a funnel into cylinder 4. Gonna put a bunch in there. Put some in cylinder 1.
Cylinder 2. Number 3.
Automatic one, so we'll give a little extra. Number 8. Oh, number 8 is full. That stuff smells really nice. Something like toothpaste or peppermint almost. Okay, I'm gonna spin it a little slower because all this stuff is gonna rush right out. Whew! Put some horsepower. Anyway, let it stand overnight. We might check compression later, see if anything's changed on 4, 7, and 8. All right, guys, I've done a bunch of moisturizing of the cylinders through the spark plug holes with oiling and spinning it by hand. Let's remember to take this out so that doesn't spin with the engine when we try another compression test. And I remember the last time the compression on number 4 was like really bad compared to all the others. The others were all coming out like 50. That one was coming out at zilch. So let's try it again. After all this moisturizing, I'm interested to see if cylinder 4 rings came back from their stuck condition or stuck state. And my brother-in-law told me to open the throttle bodies because there could be vacuum that the throttle bodies are not letting air through, and so the starter's working a lot harder. Here goes something. Boom! 110. Let's see if I'll get more. Yeah, it's building compression. 125. So I think the trick is this engine probably stood around for months, not, oh, hey, it ran yesterday, like every owner loves to say. That was a miss on my part. I should have been more prudent. But anyway, probably stuck rings or whatever. Had to get them soaked in some oil. I did this over a number of days, put oil in, let it stand, slowly spin it over by hand. Oil came out of there. Oil dripped down on the bottom of the engine. And so I think we'll bring her back. I just want to get that head gasket done. And I'm going to check all the cylinders again. And I'm just going to figure out which one's the worst still now. And then we're going to kind of work off of that. Synopsis is that cylinders 8 and 9 are still low. That's on the driver bank. And so we're taking off both heads, but now I know where to look more closely with the blown head gasket story. Hopefully it is just a head gasket, but could be anything. Join us in the next video where we're going to dive in and actually pull the heads off. That's probably a wrap for this video. Prepare the patience, as they said, for the S85 V10. Looks pretty though. It's like grown-up Legos. Peace out. Please comment and like and share and subscribe to stay in the know of what's going on with the E60 M5.